Coming up on Valley News Live at 5, we are just hours away from tonight's highly anticipated vice presidential debate. A former Minneapolis police officer awaiting trial in the death of George Floyd is now being released on bond. And two men are biking across the country, encouraging people to find something that's been missing lately. Valley News Live at 5 starts right now.
Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go, this is Valley News Live at 5.
A recent study shows 3 in 10 U.S. parents say their child's mental health was struggling at the end of the last school year due to COVID-19. And now, as most schools in the Valley officially have 1 month of classes under their belt, Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley spoke with 2 local mental health experts today on what they are seeing in kids here and what parents can do to help.
Both Prairie St. John's and the Village say the school year is usually a busy time for mental health concerns. So while they can't say COVID-19 is making children's mental health worse, it's also not making it any better.
Not knowing, they could get the phone call tomorrow saying school's going to be online for 2 weeks. And so everyone's kind of a little more on edge at the beginning of this school year than previous school years we've seen.
I've seen a lot of our kids who tend to do well in school starting to struggle with the distance learning.
Lindbergh says while online learning does cause anxiety in many of his patients, he says it's the lack of social engagement that's really taking a toll.
Doing things through Zoom calls or FaceTime, they talk about feeling a disconnection, going from sports being canceled just to social distancing requirements, keeping kids from being together. It's put a lot more strain on parents and families to really encourage, facilitate, and coordinate other means to have these kids get their social needs met.
Both Lindbergh and McLaughlin say it's important for parents to engage more with their kids with things like family movie or game night, but advise to keep the pandemic talk to a minimum.
A lot of times parents might not realize that how they're feeling is rubbing off also on their family as well. So maybe feeling like, I feel like my mom's worried all the time, and so then I feel worried too.
Saying if you are going to talk to your child about it, to keep it as factual as possible, leaving out both your opinions and feelings to not further impact your child's mental health. In Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
For more information on mental health programs offered at both the Village and Prairie St. John's, you can head to our VNL News app and click on this story. Health officials in North Dakota are confirming 495 new cases of COVID-19, along with 24 deaths across the state. In Cass County alone, there are 134 cases being reported today. On their Facebook page, Fargo Police posted a flyer. They're asking businesses to print and hang up to help in the search for a missing 80-year-old man with dementia. Robert McKinnon walked away from Mapleview Memory Care in South Fargo 6 days ago. Police say since Monday, they've done additional searches on foot and used everything from a drone to a helicopter. Police are asking people to hang the flyers and check their properties and personal security or doorbell cameras to see if Mr. McKinnon shows up in those videos. If you see him, call 911. It feels like we're on a roll with the warmer weather. How long can we keep it going? Let's hope at least through the evening. Here's Nathan with a look at the forecast. Hey, Nathan.
Hey, Andrea. Yeah, it was a pretty pleasant day for us across the valley. Saw a bit of a breeze today, much like what we saw yesterday. Look at these winds on our home economy Skycam in Grand Forks. A bit of a breeze there on those flags, but mainly clear skies at this hour. A few clouds there passing by the camera there, but that's about it for us to worry about this evening. We've got those peak gusts around 35 to 40 miles per hour in the windier spots today, noticing Crookston a 36 mile per hour gust, Grand Forks 35 miles per hour, even Fargo saw a 33 mile per hour wind gust today. Here's how current winds look. Northwest flow for everybody, 15 to 20 miles per hour sustained winds. The good news is these winds will be calming down pretty quickly once we head toward the sunset hour this evening. You can see just a few clouds showing up in the Devil's Lake Basin at this hour on satellite, and some clouds up in Lake of the Woods and Roseau counties as well. Now, as I was saying, we do have the wind calming down, but Andrea, we're expecting a chilly night tonight before we go on a temperature roller coaster as we go into the weekend. So we'll talk about all that coming up.
All right. Thanks, Nathan. Police say an 18-year-old is dead after crashing her car into a tree in the Northern Valley. Grand Forks police say it appears Marley Ferguson lost control on a curve before hitting a tree. The crash happened just after 8 last night in the 600 block of 1st Avenue South. That is just off of Demers Avenue. Police are trying to determine if speed played a role in the crash. A Wadena County man is in the hospital after crashing his motorcycle in Moorhead. The State Patrol says the driver lost control on I-94 at the Main Avenue Southeast exit last night and ended up in the ditch. We're told he wasn't seriously hurt. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, awaiting trial for murder in the death of George Floyd, has been released from jail. Chauvin was released this morning from the Minnesota Correctional Facility in Oak Park Heights, where he has been held since May. He was then transferred to the Hennepin County Jail, where he posted bail. A sheriff's office document, which was filed in district court, shows Chauvin was released on a non-cash conditional bail, which was set at $1 million. The 44-year-old faces 12 years in prison if convicted. The stage is set and the stakes are high for tonight's vice presidential debate at the University of Utah. Both presidential candidates are the oldest in history. Natalie Brand reports from Salt Lake City, where Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris will meet in a matter of hours for their one and only debate.
The vice presidential candidates will face off separated by new safety precautions, including plexiglass and increased social distancing. Their desks positioned more than 12 feet apart. The debate commission also says guests without masks will be escorted out of the hall, something it did not fully enforce for the first presidential debate.
There is no playbook for it.
Jason Perry of the University of Utah says tonight takes on new significance with uncertainty surrounding the next presidential debate. President Trump's diagnosis and the White House outbreak will bring the coronavirus into even sharper focus on stage.
The tentacles from it go to every segment of our country, right down to the economy itself. The path forward is unclear, made even less clear by what's happened over this past week, and I think that is going to be a center point of this debate.
Senator Kamala Harris is expected to prosecute the Trump administration's pandemic response, while Vice President Mike Pence is expected to defend his leadership of the president's coronavirus task force. Utah polling shows COVID-19 and the economic fallout remain top issues for voters here. Tanisa Wright is a registered Republican, but says she's undecided.
I would like to hear more about their policies, about what they're going to do.
Clayton Thomas says he's also undecided after voting for President Trump in 2016. He hopes tonight's tone is an improvement over last week's interruptions and attacks.
President, I'm the moderator of this debate, and I would like you to let me ask my question.
I think being able to actually have the candidates be civil in their actions as well as their words.
Both Harris and Pence are known as skilled debaters, and political analysts expect to see the candidates sharp and focused. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Salt Lake City.
There are two more presidential debates scheduled. The next one is next Thursday night in Miami. President Trump says he will be there, but former Vice President Joe Biden says there shouldn't be a debate if the president is still sick. The wife of wounded Waseca, Minnesota police officer Eric Mattson says she has been sitting in on therapy sessions, preparing to be his major caregiver since he'll be coming home soon. Eric was shot in the head during a suspicious person call in January. He is currently at a rehab facility in Omaha, relearning how to walk and perform daily routines. Several thousand people attending the annual Cruise in the Coast event on the Mississippi coast are keeping an eye on Hurricane Delta in case the storm might cause a change of plans. The event is called America's Largest Block Party and celebrates antique, classic, and quirky vehicles. As of Monday, the number of attendees is down from last year, but there were still about 2,400 people who had checked in. That's about 35% of all those who had registered. Some visitors from out of town are wondering what the rest of the week will look like with Hurricane Delta looming.
Meeting with local and state officials, keeping an eye on the storm, obviously, and we're going to formulate a plan, and as soon as we know anything, we'll put it out through local media, on social media, and let everybody know. You know, the safety of our participants and volunteers, and of course those spectators, is of paramount importance to us.
For now, all Cruise in the Coast activities are going ahead as scheduled. Two men with a lot of differences are putting them aside in order to send a big message they hope spreads across the country.
And expect clear sky for us continuing through the rest of this evening. In Fargo, temperatures cooling through those 50s into the upper 40s by the midnight hour. Look at those winds calming to near zero there by midnight. In Grand Forks, expecting things to get cooler a little faster, expecting some low to mid 40s by that midnight hour. We'll break down that forecast for you next.